Hello, everybody, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for January 14th, 2025. It's season 4 of Non Sequitur News. It used to be called ohmTown Daily News Show, but to more accurately describe just what goes on here, we changed it to Non Sequitur News. Anyway, this is season 4, episode 14. As time goes on, we're going to get rid of that episode thing because, well, we do it every day. Today, I, Mayor Watt, I run ohmTown.com, and along with the Sentient AI, who isn't available today, we normally go over articles each day. Today, we're going over New Horizon post office scandal claims, Razer thin refunds, these different dogs, tracking to raise prices, Starbucks, the historical trend, because you are sociopathic bastards. That unpaid toll text is a scam, regulating 5 air toxins, driver deactivation lawsuit, and Mosasaur Fossil might be a forgery. Now you forge fossils, but anyway, there you have it. Welcome to 2025. See you on the other side, because everything is powered by Hello, everybody. Again, I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmTown.com. Hey, I was recently doxxed. Kind of found it interesting. Not sure why anybody would do that. There's no rhyme or reason. But hey, I am who I am. They are who they are. Not calling you out, but come on. Anyway, it's something that I actually tell people when we talk about starting up businesses. You kind of have to be prepared, because while you may not think about it, like doxing somebody, there are people out there that are willing to do it. Not quite sure what they get out of it. It's kind of violating the social contract of sorts. Not even picking a fight. I'm just going, why? Why bother? Anyway, let's get into today's articles. The first article is one that we've been following for quite some time. It's over on the Hatch Ideas channel, which is about business transformation, intellectual property, things like that. But strategic management, kind of doing a course correction on businesses. I never follow my own advice, but I try to help people out with their business issues. At any rate, let's talk about this. Over 2,000 new post office scandal compensation claims, according to an article here. It's a BBC article. And what's going on here is sub-postmasters, some 900 of them, were prosecuted for theft. I was just talking about it today during a 6-hour event. But I was talking with people in the crowd because I talk about technology pretty much 24/7. When I'm not doing this show, I'm talking about tech and how it impacts science and society. So these 2,000 new claims are coming on the heels of other claims from various people who were negatively impacted by a series of unfortunate events created by flaws in a management tool called Horizon. Again, the article is by Lucy Hooker over at bbc.com, and more than 2,000 new claims they've been made in the last month by people who believe that they were also victims of the post office scandal, a government minister has said. Post Office Minister Gareth Thomas told Victoria Derbyshire on BBC Newsnight that the new claims came after the post office contacted former sub-postmasters who may have been affected by the but had not yet applied for compensation. Many of the more than 4,000 original claimants are still waiting for compensation to be paid, including 92-year-old Betty Brown, who told BBC that the government needed to get it done. The compensation was getting faster and being made less legalistic, less adversarial. This is entirely caused by software flaws and then willful ignorance and abandoning basically the rule of, again, the social contract and law. They didn't get any type of fair hearing because they leaned back on the software that was flawed in and of itself. We've waited and waited. Time is getting shorter. We're getting older. Get it done. She wanted a fair and just hearing. And frankly, I think the company needs to be disbanded for all the pain and suffering that it's caused. This is the Horizon software that essentially ran the post office. Said the amount of compensation being paid out had doubled in the last 6 months, and the government was trying to make the compensation schemes less legalistic. Claimants can choose to take £75,000 fixed sum compensation and avoid a lengthy assessment process, which should help the claims be processed more quickly, he added. But there are people that have gone through an extraordinary amount of pain and suffering, and I find it just unfathomable. Let's move on, though. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. FTC is now refunding people who bought Razer's ridiculous Zephyr masks. Over $1 million is available for people who bought said masks. The article's by A.G. Dellinger over at Gizmodo.com. And if you bought one of these stupid masks, basically the FTC has announced that Monday it's reached a settlement with the gaming hardware company, and the Razer Zephyr during the pandemic was released as an N95 mask. Under the terms of the agreement, 6,764 consumers who purchased the mask, according to the agency, consumers who bought the Zephyr mask have 90 days to cash their check once received or 30 days to accept their PayPal payment. Shocking. The payout represents the end of a surprisingly thorough saga that saw the FTC crack down on Razer for falsely marketing the Zephyr masks. The FDA registered and lab tested for 99% bacteria filtration efficiency and offered greater protection compared to standard disposable cloth masks thanks to its replaceable N95 grade filters for maximum protection. Turns out not so much. According to the FTC investigator, Razer never submitted the Zephyr mask to the FDA or the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health for testing, and they were never certified as N95 grade. So, I mean, it's outright fraud, but hey, I won't be getting Razer as a sponsor anytime soon. So if you got this mask, then pay attention to your mail because you've been notified. All right, the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Chernobyl? Hold on a second. Chernobyl. Interesting. Okay. Well, the article is over at Futurity. Tracy Peak from NC State put the article together. These radiation-induced mutations in it is unlikely to have led to genetic differences between dog populations in Chernobyl City and the nearby. Apparently, it can be both ways for the nuclear power plant, but the city, I guess, is Chernobyl. But it says Chernobyl or Chernobyl is a partially abandoned city in the Chernobyl exclusion zone. All right. The article is titled Chernobyl Dogs Aren't Different Because of Mutation. So we've been working with the article states that they've been working with two dog populations that, while separated by just 16 kilometers or about 10 miles, are genetically distinct. And they're trying to determine if the low-level exposure over many years to environmental toxins such as radiation, lead, etc., could explain some of these differences. In the study, the researchers conducted a deeper dive into the genomes to detect evidence of mutations that may have accumulated over time. They contextualized the level of genetic differences between the two dog populations, which indicated that the genetics of Chernobyl city dogs were very similar to dog populations in Russia, Poland, and surrounding areas, says Megan Dillon, a PhD candidate at North Carolina State and lead author of the study. That way, we were able to use the Chernobyl city dogs as a representative control population to compare with the Chernobyl nuclear power plant dogs. While no evidence of genetic mutation was found, the researchers add that it doesn't rule out the role of selective pressures in explaining the differences between the two dog populations. They think that it's due to many other toxins, including heavy metals, lead, powder, pesticides, and asbestos released into the environment during the ensuing cleanup and remediation over 3 decades. While no one lives in the NPP or Pripyat anymore, up until the Russian invasion, many thousands of people continued to work there every day on remediation and construction projects nearby. Yeah, there's some weird things here. These results published in the journal Parasites and Vectors. I sleep with one of those magazines or the journals underneath my pillow every night. Let's keep moving. The next article, this is a time machine episode, so I only have an hour to get this done. And I won't be able to do the show on the 15th because mayoral duties prevent me from doing the show, but we will make up for it on Friday, the 16th. Anyway, Texas sues Allstate for allegedly tracking people to raise insurance prices, which I find really fascinating. You know, businesses they'll reach into your pockets as much as humanly possible. State Attorney General Ken Paxton accuses Allstate of illegally gathering data through mobile applications, including Life 360. But government has limits on how it can gather information. It can actually buy information from companies, but companies can buy information from various services. I'm not quite sure what they're talking about illegally gathering. I'm curious what the argument is. Martha McCurdy over at Newsweek.com put this article together, and it says the state of Texas has filed a lawsuit against insurance giant Allstate, accusing the company of using invasive tracking methods to collect personal data and hike car insurance rates, according to Newsweek. I'm not sure how they actually found this out. So the sector's been under fire recently, which is ironic considering they're referencing the Los Angeles wildfires in the article, in which tens of thousands of people lost their homes. The murder of health insurance CEO Brian Thompson also prompted discussions nationwide over healthcare costs and insurance practices. So they're conflating the wildfires with the healthcare issue with insurance that's associated with car rates. So you can see how it's stacking and people are paying more attention. But nobody complains when they're profiteering. They're complaining when things start happening negatively to a certain amount of people, and definitely to rich people. That's when people start paying attention. But, you know, as long as everything's positively going up, nobody complains. Even if it is irrational, nobody puts the brakes on the irrational growth. But they do put brakes when people start feeling some type of negative pressure. And negative pressure to the wrong group of people. If all the poors have negative pressure, it's not a big deal. It's their lot in life, right? That's how it works. Anyway, according to the lawsuit, Allstate and its subsidiary analytics company Arity, which was founded by Allstate in 2016, have collected trillions of miles worth of location data over 45 million customers in an effort to build the world's largest driving behavior database, which was then used by third-party insurers to justify increasing car insurance premiums. So a company that's benefiting from gathering all of this information, it was actually spun up by a company which benefits from it, but it's secondary. And then they gave the information. It's kind of how I'm kind of puzzled by the fact that there is a not-for-profit company spun up to do research that definitely benefits a private company or a for-profit company. And that is all of the fundamental research that OpenAI did is benefiting the for-profit wing. And they want to chop the not-for-profit side off now that they are filthy freaking rich. Anyway, Allstate told Newsweek Arity helps consumers get the most accurate auto insurance price after they consent to a simple and transparent way that fully complies with all rules and regulations, laws and regulations, they say. If a consumer requested a car insurance quote or had to renew their coverage, insurers would access that consumer's driving behavior on Indefendant's database. Insurance then used that consumer's data to justify increasing their car insurance premiums, denying them coverage, or dropping them from coverage entirely, according to Paxton's office. Allstate and Arity are allegedly able to build the database by paying third-party app developers, remember what I said, including Life360, GasBuddy, Fuel Rewards, and Routely, millions of dollars to incorporate their tracking software into existing mobile phone applications. Newsweek also contacted GasBuddy, Fuel Rewards, and Routely for comment. Comes after the New York Times revealed in July how such data is used to calculate a driver score for a consumer. There's a health score as well out there, and you always have your credit score. But yeah, as soon as it becomes seriously inconvenient, then you can be dropped for all kinds of reasons. Even in oops, you'll have to justify, and that's how you end up in that whole issue. I can't even mention it. If I say these 3 words, my channel is at risk. So anyway, I have to capitulate, because I don't want to end up not having a channel. It's fascinating. Anyway, Allstate never provided notice or obtained Texans' consent to collect. Look, y'all worry about Big Brother, but Big Brother really, well, up until now, I don't think it really gave a shit about average Joes. Little Sister monitors every beep, fart, and whistle that you exude off of your sphere of influence. And Big Brother is just sitting there, like, largely not caring, because it's just kind of defending itself against external threats and internal threats that have kind of insinuated their way in so that they can harm from inside. We're way past that now. But Little Sister has always been watching you. Always. Just pay attention to that. Big Brother has an overarching requirement, which is to protect the overall federal institution, but it's already being chopped into bits. Little Sister, though, they have no constraints, right? First Amendment doesn't really impact them. The amendments don't impact them. The Constitution is a control on the federal government, not on states. To the same degree, they have state constitutions and the federal government, but the federal government is being hobbled. But companies have no constitution. They benefit from the Constitution because they're controlled by private individuals, and the Constitution protects the business now from any undue influence. It's great for the business and the owners and the stockholders, but employees, you're screwed. You are and can be bought and sold like so much chattel. Anyway, I'm getting far afield from what this article is all about. But in essence, these companies can buy and sell all of your data, and there are no rules. There literally are no rules. The state is going to try and put some downward pressure that they didn't disclose or whatever, but everybody who uses the app, already it's implied. And then the company can sell that data to whoever they damn well please, essentially. We have no consumer rights here in the United States, not like the EU. Good luck. Good luck. And just for the record, the federal government is being hobbled in controlling what the states do. And that's the first part of removing even states' rights, because eventually you'll get a contingent of people controlling a state, and they'll have carte blanche to change whatever they want. And then the people who are marginalized or minimized are going to be at the losing end of that stick, right? And just remember, they came for Anyway, Allstate's yet to formally respond to the lawsuit. Allstate said in a statement, though, to an insurance journal that Arity helps consumers get the most accurate auto insurance price after they consent to a simple and transparent way that fully complies with all laws and regulations. Except Allstate knowingly created Arity based on what this article is saying. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Starbucks ended its open door policy, buy something or get out. I've always thought it's weird to go into a coffee shop, for instance, and not buy anything regularly. You're basically, if you're hanging out for 8 hours because you're conducting business, then you really need to just pay rent. And that rent is in the form of buying drinks and food and accessories, whatever might be there. So if I hang out for more than an hour or two, because I'm sitting there sipping my coffee and having a break with somebody, talking business or talking whatever, I'm there to buy something. I'm not there just to hang out and use their internet and power. So previously, Starbucks was quite accommodating, allowing non-customers to use their cafes for work and other activities. However, the company will now require you to purchase something if you want to use their facilities, including their restroom. That might be out of bounds, but I do that anyway. Even if I go to use their bathrooms, I don't really go into Starbucks anymore. But when I go somewhere and I need to use a business's bathroom, I buy something just as a courtesy. They're allowing me, so I might as well compensate them. So the article is by Sammy Caramella over at Vice.com. According to J.C. Anderson, a spokesperson for Starbucks, the decision to reverse the open door policy will help the company better prioritize paying customers while keeping staff safe. Now, in fact, I think that this puts staff at odds, and they don't pay staff enough because people are going to be pissed that they can't just come in and use the bathroom or can't just sit down. What happens, is, well, I was going to, but people are going to get irritated. Now, the CEO doesn't give a shit because they're sitting there giving the demand. The regional managers, the area managers, the various franchisees, or if they even have franchises, I don't know anymore. But the management doesn't give a shit. They're telling people to show up for work, and the front lines are people who are underpaid, and really aren't going to give a shit about it. So I can't imagine it being enforced in any real way. So what's going to end up happening is people are going to come in and they're going to use the store, and then some regional manager, area manager is going to come in and go, there's people here that don't have stuff, and either the employee is going to sit there and go and risk their job by lying and saying, well, they threw it away or whatever, or the employee is going to get fired for not enforcing policy. In addition to ending its open door policy, the coffee chain will also incentivize paying customers to use its cafes by offering free hot or iced coffee refills for non-rewards with ceramic mugs or reusable glasses for in-store dining. Let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. FTC accuses CVS, Cigna, and United Health of marking up cancer and HIV drugs. The three major drug middlemen needlessly mark up generic drugs for cancer, HIV, and multiple sclerosis to generate $7.3 billion in revenue. Ben Kesslin over at Quartz or QZ.com put the article together. And it's because they're greedy bastards, and they have a for-profit motive, and the people who own the stock, either it's canceling out their increase, or they're largely not utilizing any of these drugs, and so they don't really give a shit how many people suffer. The results have created a system where leading PBMs now exercise significant power over Americans' ability to access and afford their prescription drugs. That's mergers and acquisitions have led to only 3 companies controlling the bulk of drug distribution. The findings were revealed in the agency's second interim staff report on the prescription drug middleman industry. In theory, PBMs are meant to be third-party companies that are middlemen between drug makers and insurance providers. United Health is a a vertical. So there's an insurance thing, and there's also this side. And they netted such significant revenues, all while patient, employer, and other healthcare plan sponsor payments for drugs steadily increased annually. United Health actually has a massive amount of denials. And in all of these cases, any type of increase is profiteering. Any type of denial is profiteering, because they have to jump through flaming hoops to get their drugs actually provided by the drug delivery agents. The doctors are the prescribers, and I think that any company that denies is practicing medicine, and they should not be. Nobody should be overriding what the doctor says. If you have a problem with it, then investigate the doctor, talk to the doctor. But under no circumstances should you not be denying medical coverage and care. If it is found that the doctor is prescribing it in due course of their duties to heal a human being that's paying for insurance. There shouldn't be a profit motive to health insurance. Health insurance is supposed to be a means to provide coverage if somebody gets sick, and largely is like that. But there are sometimes people who get very sick and need the medication. And anybody who thinks, well, I don't get sick and I have to pay insurance, why should I pay for somebody else's insurance? You're a sociopath. Society pays into health insurance to lower the cost of drugs. Just like you've benefited from all of academia doing insurance or doing fundamental research. We stand on the shoulders of giants, and everybody chipping in to lower the cost of medication because everybody is chipping in. You're benefiting from it. Don't be a sociopath. So Khan, who is set to leave the FTC when the next administration comes in, believes that the FTC should keep using its tools to investigate practices. I can assure you that it's going to get hobbled. So good luck to anybody who can't afford name brand medication and treatments. You're going to end up having to pay more, getting shittier service than ever before. I think all holds are no longer barred. So let's keep going though. The next article is over in Technology Today. Got a text about an unpaid toll. It's almost definitely a scam. And even if it isn't a scam, don't go to the website that is linked to you. Go to the source. Contact the source agency that is asking you for the toll. Not just some rando link. Do not click links. It's called Click with Care. It's my moniker. I am promoting this idea that you need to think critically, you need to do due diligence, you need to trust but verify. Yes, you may have gotten an unpaid toll notice, but do not click the link. Go to the agency that says you have an unpaid toll. I never click random links that, if I'm not expecting it from the company or agency or org or whatever you want to call it, because it's either government or private, I never click links that just get text to me. So the latest version of a familiar trick has a twist to evade scam prevention technology, but it can't prevent your brain. They're basically sending a text from a domain that is closely related to your location in relation to a tolling station. The ones that I have received, unfortunately, kind of missed the state that ohmTown is actually in. Too bad. And I have since notified other people, do not click any links related to a toll. Contact the company, the state agency that is demanding the toll. And you obviously know where you've been told. Anyway, the article is behind a paywall over at the Washington Post, but You more than likely won't run into the paywall. I did because I am not logged in. Anyway, let's keep going. The next article is over on the Mobile Channel. Colorado is going to start regulating 5 air toxins that make people sick. Colorado air pollution regulators spend a lot of time thinking about greenhouse gases that create a smog effect across the Front Range and contribute to global warming, but this week they'll focus on 5 that are making people sick. Noelle Phillips over at phys.org put the article together, and let's see if they say what it is. So the 5 that they're talking about are acrolein, which is created when fossil fuels are burned by wood-burning industrial boilers and reciprocating engines, and is also used to make a polymer for paints, coatings, and adhesives. You'll get acute short-term inhalation related issues that cause eye and respiratory tract irritation, but it says it's not considered a cancer risk. I would not count on that, but okay. Benzene is a carcinogen released when fossil fuels are burned, including in car exhaust, oil and gas extraction and production, and it's also created by cement manufacturing, waste disposal, and wood burning. Acute exposure may cause drowsiness, dizziness, headaches, as well as eye, skin, and respiratory tract irritation and unconsciousness at higher levels. And chronic inhalation can cause cancer, blood disorders, reproductive issues, and let's just move on. Ethylene oxide is number 3 on this list, which is used to make products such as antifreeze, textiles, adhesives, plastics, detergents. It sterilizes medical equipment, including Terumo BTC and Lakewood to sanitize medical equipment. It causes cancers in humans, including lymphoma, myeloma, leukemia, and breast cancer. Oof. Hydrogen sulfide is a highly toxic gas that smells like rotten eggs because it has sulfur in it, so it smells like rotten eggs. It's released by wastewater treatment facilities, meat processing facilities, petroleum refining, manufacturing of asphalt and roofing materials, and places where large quantities of manure are stored. Again, it's the sulfur that's breaking out and mixing with hydrogen. So low exposure can cause headaches, memory loss, balance problems, fatigue, and is not considered a carcinogen, but data is limited on its effects on children and women's reproduction, according to the EPA. And then hexavalent chromium, which is a horrible chemical, says it's naturally found in food and is a necessary dietary supplement. However, it is a byproduct of industrial processes such as metal fabricating, and by burning coal for electricity, it can leak into water systems and into air. It can cause cancer and impact the respiratory system, kidneys, liver, skin, eyes. Now, hexavalent chromium is a very small component. It's not something that in large amounts is a nice chemical. So I'm trying to be, it's a toxic carcinogenic form of chromium that can be found in the environment and in industrial products. So I'm trying to figure out why they say that it is naturally found in food and is a necessary dietary supplement. Weird, because I've never heard that it is. Hexavalent chromium is not found. It says it is naturally found in food and is a necessary dietary supplement. Chromium is, but not hexavalent chromium. This article is wrong. Huh. Yeah, I'll contact them after the show. This is absolutely wrong. No way. No way. Okay, I'll follow up on this at another time, but as far as I know, hexavalent chromium is not found in food and is not a dietary supplement. Chromium. Yes. Okay, well, anyway, let's keep on moving. Instacart and Uber file appeal in driver deactivation lawsuit against City of Seattle. The companies filed an appeal on Monday in a lawsuit related to the company's ordinance that regulates the driver deactivation process for workers who deliver food, shop for groceries, and complete tasks via on-demand apps. Uber originally filed a lawsuit last month. Instacart joined later. The companies argue that the ordinance violates First Amendment rights and is unconstitutionally vague, among other allegations. So you can see how a company is utilizing the Constitution. Taylor Soper, but it's actually, my understanding of this is that people are being underpaid, and so I think that this is being conflated with something else. Maybe I am doing that conflation, but I think that there's a different issue here. The law originally passed by Seattle and signed at the time by Mayor Bruce Harrell was designed to provide more job security to app-based couriers and delivery drivers and other service providers. Under the law, companies must give workers a 14-day notice of deactivation, base deactivations on reasonable policies, and ensure human review of all deactivations and provide workers with records behind that decision. In a statement, it basically says they'll continue to fight this incredibly flawed ordinance. By allowing this ordinance to move forward, the court is putting Instacart and its consumers at risk, or customers at risk. The ordinance seeks to protect app workers from unwarranted deactivations and does not impose unconstitutional burdens on companies like Uber. So they're fighting the fact that people can be deactivated without any real disclosure as to why, and there's no driver protection here. So why would the company want to fight this? Why not just provide the reasons why a driver would be deactivated? All right, let's keep going though. The next article is over, and I said who it was by, right? Taylor Soper from GeekWire.com, that last article. Anyway, our last article for today's Time Machine episode. Again, it's January 14th. Scientists suspect newly discovered Mosasaur Fossil is a forgery. Researchers are calling for CT scans to confirm the authenticity of a Cretaceous period fossil that led to the identification of a new Mosasaur species. Margarita Bassi over at Gizmodo.com put the article together. The text statement is what I just said. And researchers in Canada have raised doubts about the authenticity of the fossil used to identify and describe a new species of extinct marine reptile, Xenodens galminichari, in 2021. Their analysis, detailed in a December 16th study published in the Anatomical Record, highlights inconsistencies within the previous research and calls for new CT scans of the jaw to confirm its validity. If their doubts are proven true, it should be established in the published literature that this is a fake. Our rebuttal to Xenodens is now published in open access in the Anatomical Record. This bizarre shark-toothed mosasaur is likely both a forgery and non-diagnostic, according to Hank Sharp, a paleoarchaeologist is the name. It says at paleoarchaeologist. I guess it's over on Twitter. So, mosasaurs are large marine lizards and one of the ocean's top predators during the Cretaceous period, 145.5 to 66 million years ago, with some individuals reaching up to 17 meters long. The researchers from the 2021 study partly based the identification on the new mosasaur species on 4 sharp teeth found on an incomplete jawbone unearthed in a Moroccan phosphate mine. The new Mosasaurid exhibits a dental battery or dental arrangement that are with numerous small, short, blade-like teeth packed together to form a saw-like cutting edge. Maybe it's something else, I guess. 2 of the surviving teeth on the alleged Kalminichari jaw sit within a single tooth socket, a feature at odds with most other known mosasaur teeth and jaw arrangements, in which each tooth grows in its own socket. Interesting. So they say that it could be adhesive. That does look like a patch Look at that right there. Interesting. Possible adhesive. And this looks like bone, but that looks like something else, right? Like gums, but gums would have withered away. Unless, I guess, I don't know the historical record of mineral deposition to the biological elements of a jaw and tooth. So like our gums would have dried out, but I don't know that sedimentation type process where minerals replace the biological elements for fossilization. So the researchers ultimately suggest that the teeth and jaw may belong to two different creatures, though CT scans of the remains could settle any doubts. So that'll be interesting. Well, with that in mind, we're going to hop into our CT scanner, and that will bring us back to the front page of ohmtown.com for January 14th, 2025. And that's it, folks. Meerwad is done, and I'm taking all of this with me. So I'll see you later. Bye-bye.